thank you everybody for giving me this opportunity to come and share a little bit of my life, not too much of my life, but my experience and some of my suggestions, which I would like to pass on to you youngsters, because many of you may not have been born when I passed out from my college. So, and it reminds me of 2 decades back when I was in my B school, we had an orientation, nothing like this. And in fact, Vaishnav sir was just asking me, do you remember your days? I said, we didn't have an Audi like this. We probably had an induction for sure, we had, but a batch size of 60 was not really, was easily fitting in a classroom and you knew what you need to do. So I remember my days, those days. So, well, first of all, congratulations to all of you. You know why congratulations? You have taken the bold step to skill yourself up. Not many people do that. They figure out, what should I do next in life? Well, I've got a job. Who cares? Why should I do an MBA or something else? So congratulations and welcome to this. This is a great move. Now I'll try to flip through some of the slides and please stop me anywhere. I'm not a professor. I'm not the General Saab who have heard you before. So stop me, raise your hand if you have any questions. Let's make it more interactive so that I don't feel sleepy and neither you guys will. So as everybody said, and thank you, Ipshita, for giving me that introduction. My name is Debdatta. I've been working for the last more than 2 decades in different companies across continents. Based out of Pune, work for a company called Icertis. Look up on the web, but it's basically a platform. We are a product company. We are the leaders in contract lifecycle management. A different day to explain contract lifecycle management, not today. We are the leaders. Some of you might be using Apple iPhone. Apple is our customer. We are a small company. We are a company of about 2,200 across the globe. Some of the largest pharmaceutical companies use our platform to run contracts. Boeing, name it, Airbus, all of these guys use our platform to run contracts. That's a different story. You want to know more about me? I'm not going to bore it. Hit up on LinkedIn, you'll know who am I. Okay. So, you know, when Professor Tambuskar and his academic section sent me an invite letter saying, come and speak to our student managers. So I said, what are you talking about? Student and managers. I said, great. Send me the letter. He sent me a letter. And interestingly, I picked up these sentences, and I think Professor Tambuskar or the academic section can tell me this is exactly what I picked up. And I have highlighted 4 key words here: managers, leader, innovator, and change maker. And when he asked me, what is your topic going to be? I said, well, these words actually kind of link to each other. There is some synergy between these words. So let's understand what they are, right? So I'll unveil my topic a little later, but let's think through these 4 words, because to me, they have a lot of synergy between each other. There's a lot that they mean and interconnect to an individual. The way I look at it, these are my personal perspectives, okay? So when this was very interesting to me, when this sentence came in, I said, well, this is interesting. Let's relook up, right? Let me play this small video and then I'll ask you some questions, okay?
Oh no! I'm lost! Where's the money? It's just money! What do I do? I'll be stuck here forever!
Do not panic! Do not panic! We are trained professionals! Now stay calm! We are going around the leaf!
Around the leaf? I don't think we can do that.
Oh, nonsense. This is nothing compared to the twig of 93. That's it. That's it. Good. You're doing great. There you go. There you go. Watch my eyes. Don't look away. And here's the line again.
Thank you, Mr. Soil.
Good job, everybody.
Oh my, there's quite a depth, Mr. Soil. Shouldn't we tell the Queen?
I don't think we need to involve the Queen in this. She's got enough on her plate already. Training her daughter.
How many of you have seen this video before? Ah, good. I like it. A lot of you have been on YouTube. Good. What comes to your mind? Leader, okay. Any other words? I'm sorry? Unity, okay. Problem solvers. Innovator, okay. Motivating, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, now you're using all the words I showed you, 4 words. Manager, innovator, and all this. Come on. See. What's it? Sorry. Teamwork, okay. Don't give up. Decision making, okay. I'm sorry. Guidance. Smart works. Okay. All right. Good. So, a lot of things, right? A lot of words come to you when you look at a video like this, right? Now, if you really look at it, you see, I think the key word was somebody was trying to unblock the entire colony of ants who were trying to move things from one place to the other, right? And they were flustered when a leaf dropped in between and didn't know what to do about it. So somebody came running in, and if you remember, it was not the queen or somebody up in the ladder. Somebody just came in and said, I'm going to unblock and make you move on. What did they do? They really actually made sure that the team is able to continue working while they unblock. There was no credit involved in it. It said, hey, I'm going to unblock you. I'm just going to move on and do it. Right? So if you really look at it, there's a lot to see. Now, as I said, those 4 words, remember those 4 words which I had seen in that invitation letter? I actually went back and looked at one of the articles that I had put it on LinkedIn a few years back about leader. The word leader, L-E, it's a 6-letter word, right? Leader, 6-letter word, simplified. What does it really mean? Everybody thinks leader, leader, leader. So we think, what do you think when you, okay, let me ask you this question. What do you think when somebody says he's a leader or she is a leader? By the way, she absolutely are great leaders. Yes, he or she is a leader. What comes to your mind? Somebody said responsibility. Who is the gentleman who said responsibility? Okay, somebody should mark him and I'll ask him after 2 years, maybe if I'm here, I'm asking how many responsibilities did he take here? Okay. Takes difficult decisions, okay. Shows directions. Okay. Okay, name a few leaders that you admire or you think are leaders. Why are you not? Why do you think you are not a leader and he is a leader? Of course, he's leading our country, but why are you not? I was hoping somebody would say I'm a leader. No one thinks he or she is a leader. There's one person raising his hand. Man, I like it. Okay. So what I wanted to, it was actually a good challenge for me, and thank you, Professor Tambuskar, for getting me this wonderful subject. I wanted to revisit. Has the word leader really changed over a period of time? Has my thought process changed? Do I now see leader in a different lens, from a different lens? Do I attribute somebody or call somebody as a leader who has certain different connotation attributes to me? So this was something that I wanted to do first. Who is a leader and what makes somebody a leader, right? So I'm going to share something what I believe, and we can debate and we can question, and I'm more happy to ask any questions. Okay, so to me, and this is my perspective, and that's why I keep saying this, leader is not about a title or a role. To me, it does not matter. Whether you are a head of the organization, whether you are the team member, or you are head of an institution, whatever it is, the title doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter. I think it's not the role, it's not the title. Then what? And that's what we're going to demystify next. So, I'm sorry, I have to be here otherwise. Am I audible okay, right? So, last benches. So, if you look into this is like a fan. Have you seen a fan? A big fan with probably 7 fins here, right? Or blades here. And if I really look into it, this actually starts, the leader is here. To me, a leader is in the central. And all these are some of the key traits which drives. And we'll start with one of them, right? See the word leader? It starts basically the same direction, leader, right? So the first thing is listening and learning. Why do you think listening is important? To me, today everybody wants to talk. We want to talk. We just want to shout out and tell everything in the world. And most of us think we know everything. So we hardly listen. Let's say when you're in a class, and for your context, if you already have a prejudice or you have a mindset already that I already know, I'll give an example. Let's take an example. Some of you have done probably commerce, somebody might have done engineering, some of you might have done some HR related courses. Let's say somebody is a commerce grad and he says, well, I know everything in commerce. What am I learning in MBA finance? You've already shut your door to learning or to the opportunity to learn something new. Listening is very important. And as a leader, when you say as a leader or a person who has listening ability, the reason for listening is to understand the problem. When you go to a customer, and I'll give you example, real life examples. I'll try to give you as much as possible. And of course, keep me honest here on the time check because I tend to go over. So when you go to a problem, when you try to solve a problem, if you don't listen, will you be able to understand the problem? In most cases, you will probably hear one or two words and you've devised your mind saying, I already know the problem, I know what to be solved. You've not listened. And listening is actually active listening. There's a term called active listening. And some of the professors, if they are from OBHR, they can appreciate what's active listening. There's something called listening and something called active listening. The active listening is your mind, your heart, your soul, your full focus is on the object who is talking to you. Not just your ears open and your eyes looking at him. Probably your mind is on some reel somewhere. That's not active listening. And by active listening, you actually ask appropriate follow-up questions to deep dive and understand the problem further. And that's important because if you don't understand the root cause of a problem, how are you going to solve it? You're just going to do something which you think is right or you think is the only way to do it. So listening and learning, they are a cycle. You have to constantly. To me, that's the biggest trait of any leader. If a leader cannot listen or understand, there's no point. If I don't listen to my team, what are they going to come back and say? You don't listen to me. What's the point of coming with a problem to you? So as student managers, as a manager, the first thing is if you think manager word means managing people and managing resources, you got to have that patience of listening, active listening, willingness to learn. That's the first trait. The second trait is emotional intelligence or EQ or IQ. Have you guys heard about this term? Yes, good. How many of you have heard about it? Can somebody really tell me quickly what does it mean? What do you understand out of it? And of course, I'm not going to be, of course, the OBHR faculty here, if there are any would challenge me if I go wrong. But what's EQ or IQ to you? So I'll briefly summarize, okay, what I understand from emotional intelligence or EQ. First is something called self-awareness. Are you aware of your emotions first? Forget about everybody else's emotion. Today, if you really look at it, your father scolds you, or mother scolds you, or your boyfriend scolds you, or girlfriend scolds you, you are absolutely in a disaster. You want to suicide or die out the next moment. So you're crumbling. As managers, as future leaders, you will be tasked to get some of the toughest decisions. You will be put in 10 different things which are not working. If it was working, you are not needed. Somebody else can fix it. The machine can do it itself. You will only be needed when it's not working. So most of the time you will have situations where things are not going north, they are going south. What is the first thing? You can't shamble saying, oh, I'm under deep pressure. What can I do? Let me run away from here. First is your self-awareness. Are you aware of your emotions? How do you react to situations? Are you able to stay calm under pressure? And this is an ability that you have to grow with time, not reacting first. Understanding situation, your awareness, your emotions. Then understanding the emotion of the opposite person, the people behind, and then probably trying to control and make them understand their emotion. That's the stage 3, if you can reach there. That's the gurus, the sadgurus of the world who will try to tell how to control. If you can, then you are in nirvana mode. This is all kind of a summarized. And of course, the OBHR faculty will certainly teach you. And I think this is one of the most important aspects. And I sincerely urge all of you to build on this. You will not realize this in your 20s, your 30s, but when you hit your 40s and 50s, you're going to reach and understand life is not a race. It's a journey. And we'll talk more about it. And you have to understand this. In EQ, IQ is one of the most important things. And if you talk about the leaders, somebody said Narendra Modi. Have you ever seen him flustered a lot? I've not seen him very flustered in many of the speeches he gives. Yeah, he shows his emotion in a very different way. His words will mean it. When we were attacked recently, he had a very different way to showcase that. Do you think he has less pressure than any of us? Probably not. Not easy to manage 145 crore people when you can't even manage four people staying in the same room. So, very important to me. The next part is agile and authentic. I was talking to Kunal this week. He brought me in. I was talking to the authenticity of a person. Be authentic, be yourself. You don't have to portray somebody else. Never portray somebody else. You are yourself. You are a unique soul in this world who's come to do something different. Do not try to portray yourself. Be authentic as much as possible. And agility basically means willingness to change, learn, unlearn, and repeat forever. They say that a dog learns a lot of tricks. Have you ever thought of a small kid? We say in human anatomy or in medical sciences, a child from birth to 2 years learns the most in the entire life. You know why? Have you ever thought about it? Why? My logic is they are a complete clean slate. Whatever you teach, they learn. They don't question. The moment your senses have started working, you will question, why should I do this? Why will I do it? Do you know better? And as you go into your teens and into a college, well, first thing is parents are useless. They have no idea. They don't know what I go through. And then when you get into a job first, then comes in college. Well, master ji ko kya aata hai? I know more. So we are locking ourselves. Be agile, be willingness, be that person who's willing to learn new skills. And I was talking to Kunal. Skills is the biggest thing that will come in the future. As AI takes you over, the skills, the variety of skill, the multitude of skill, the ability to move and change things is what you can do. Will make you a differentiating factor between everybody else. But don't compete with anybody else. Compete with yourself. So that's the third trait which I feel for a leader is very important. Somebody mentioned about decision making. Absolutely. If you cannot make a decision, you're not a leader. You have to make a decision. Your own life decisions, later on your family decisions, your team decision, your company decision, and so on and so forth. You have to make decisions. There'll be choices, but you have to choose one. You can't have best of all worlds all the time. You make a choice. Next comes in is empower and inspire. Do you know what this means? Empowering and inspiring? Anybody? Okay, good. Hey, have I not put down you to sleep? Are you sure? Okay. Because these can be a little boring. It can be a little gyan. But I personally feel this is one of the key characteristics also, apart from the others, is to motivate, inspire people, empower your team. You can't do everything, but you have to empower and inspire people. You have to do it, show it, lead it. Doing is also leading. It is not just ordering. You have to inspire them. Very important. The last one this is another key aspect, which is a little tough for some people, to be honest. And I'm still struggling on it, by the way. This is one of the struggling points. It's not easy. Reach. And when I say reach, the main part is building your network. It is not about how many followers I have on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or LinkedIn. Doesn't matter. Trust me. It is how many people within that network are willing to vouch for you. You can have 1,000, maybe, I don't know, maybe a million, who knows how many followers, but how many really remember you? Somebody, it was an interesting conversation I had with my friend or somebody, actually not a friend, I know somebody. Said, hey, I've got 5,000 people who now follow me on Instagram. I said, great. How many people know you actually? Well, maybe a few of them. So what's the point? So your network is basically your net worth, which means people who can vouch for you for certain aspects of your life. They should be able to talk that this person means this. The synonym of this person means this. And similarly is the other part, which I think is a great way, and a lot of leaders don't do this part, is mentoring. Mentoring is another thing that you should do very early in your life. Mentor somebody who's in school. Mentor somebody in your family. Mentor somebody else. Showcase what is good and what you have learned. Show them the path. And this is something which is very hard to get as you grow up in the ladder. You hardly get mentors. It's very, very difficult to get good mentors. If you get it, that's like getting maybe $1 billion, man. Trust me, if you get a good mentor. Because you can bounce off your ideas, you can bounce off your thoughts, you can get positive or negative feedback. They'll be transparent, they'll be honest, crude honest to you. Like your parents, a lot of times, very crude and honest to you on your face. My dad, even today, he tells me, are you studying? Have you learned something new in the last 1 year? Or are you just doing what you do every day? What have you learned? What are the new skills you have picked up? So the last one, which is out of the leader 6-letter word, is self-reflection. Every person should do, in my mind, reflect internally where I stand. Take that 1 hour, 2 hours, sometime once in a month, sit back and think, who am I today? What have I learned? What are my mistakes? You have to be honest to yourself. Only then you can learn further. And then the cycle repeats. Keep doing that. Am I making sense? Sure? Or you just have to say yes. Somebody told you yes. Make sure you say yes. But these are the way I look at it. Okay. It could be different. There could be additional traits which can be come in. I mean, I'm sure when you go through your OBHR classes, there are many more traits of a good leader or a good manager. So what should you do? Now you would come and tell me, hey, you've given me all this gyan, great. You have already done so many years. What should I do as a student, right? Or somebody who is getting back into school. By the way, I'm getting back into school. In the last 2 years, I decided I'm going to pursue my PhD. And I'm actually enrolled in IIM Mumbai, trying to do my PhD. Because I thought, what am I doing? I'm not learning anything new. So I want to learn something. And it was hard. It was not easy. My professor is probably a few years older to me. One of the few professors in that university who are older to me. There are many faculty who are younger to me. So some of them said, why, sir, अभी आप क्यों करने आ रहे हो? नहीं यार नहीं, थोड़ा पढ़ने का मन कर रहा है. कुछ तो नया करते हैं. And it was not easy, trust me. I had to write some exams, which I had to actually write the same exam as the MBA grads in IIM Mumbai. Because the paper doesn't change. You have to still pass. You have to still score. If you don't do your credits, you can't enroll. So you have to study, and it was not easy. My daughter said, this is a self-inflicting wound that you did on yourself. Who asked you to do it? Well, I mean, this is what you hear from your daughter, because it said, who said? I want to get out of school, go into college and be out. You want to go and go back to school. That's your inflicting wound. Who said that you should do this? This is what you get for doing something new. Because people will drag you down saying, hey, why are you doing something new? Who said that you need to do this? So I'll quickly tell you what I believe, what you might want to do. And I wish somebody told me many years ago what needs to be done. First is the first part. Go from the bottom of this to the top. Commitment to yourself. That I want to be a better version of myself every day of this year and entire life. If you don't commit to yourself, nothing happens. You can say, let me go, I've got an admission, let me take some chill time, let me party. That's fine. You should party, my dear. But you have to have a commitment that I want to change myself for good. Things that I don't know. I'm committing to myself. Because if you don't have a commitment, nothing will happen. And the first pillar, I look at it as 4 pillars. Oh, sorry. I pressed the wrong button. So if you look into their 4 pillars, focus on academics, please. It is not about just grades. You will get grades. Trust me, if you work hard on your academics, you'll get grades. But the biggest thing is you'll learn out of it. Just don't learn for the heck of passing an exam. Learn beyond that. And that's exactly the next pillar. You engage, reflect, and abstract. When somebody's teaching, just don't read it and say, okay, I'm just going to mug this up and I'm done with it. No. Reflect, what does it mean? Can I abstract this entire chapter and maybe condense in half a page or 1 page? Can I actually go back and see how it works other way around? What are the key theories coming out of it? What are the key principles? What are the lacunas? What are the gaps in this? You might want to go back and then see, what can I do research beyond? And today, in this generation, you have access to a lot of digital content. And I'm sure some of you can correct me. There's digital library access to the students. They can. You can go and do this. So research it out. You don't have to do a PhD thesis, but search on the subject. If you don't understand subject, go deeper. Connect with your professors later. Man, sir, can I take your time? Can I understand this more? Because I'm passionate about this area. I want to know more. I feel that my understanding is not correct. So you have to go back to reflect. What did you learn after a lecture? A lot of times, lecture is over, we are done. And I'm guilty of it. When I was a student, of course, the our post-lunch session used to be horrible. Firstly, you have to have the mess food. Then you come and sit in a room, and then somebody comes and starts to teach you something. I said, okay, my eyes are open, but mind is completely shut. But that's the motive. That's the mojo that you have to bring in. The third part is you need to collaborate. And as I said in the first, right, people who have experience make the other one's best friend, and vice versa. Learn from your colleagues, your peers, your friends, because they might have a different experience which you would be missing. And college is the best place to learn this. When you go out in the job, you'll hardly meet each other unless you have all decided to, and some company has decided, I'm going to pick 50 of you. I like all of you. I'm going to take all 50 of you, and you're going to be best friends forever. So please understand that's very important to collaborate. And the last is real life exposure. When you go into an MBA, the expectation is what you learn, try to relate it to the real life, the real world. Where is it applied? How do I apply its concept? How do I apply something? And eventually, if you do that, you are going to create your own brand. I'm talking about your brand, right? You need to be different. And what is that brand that you will create? Now, this is some additional thoughts that I wanted to share. And if you really look at it, as I said earlier, that life is not a destination. I was telling this to Kunal earlier. Life is not a destination, it's a journey. And it's a cyclic journey. You keep learning, you keep on learning. And if you really look at it, this is where I feel your journey will be. And you need to pave your journey. Take it as it comes, but these are some of the key things that you need. We talked about collaboration. I'm not going to focus. You know what is collaboration and learn, unlearn, talked about. You keep doing this. This is very important. Growth mindset. You have to know how to let go. Failures will come. And failures is again subjective. Let's say I don't do well in a subject. Does it mean I'm absolutely useless? Probably not. I need to find out what went wrong and reflect on it and learn further. Seek feedback. Seeking feedback is another very, very important aspect, the way I look at it. And seek feedback from the right person. Why? Because you want to raise the bar high. By the way, this bar is not the bar you guys are thinking, if you are. This is raising your bar. So seek feedback from the right person. Let me give an example. Don't go and ask an finance professor, I'm not good at marketing subject. Can you help me, give me feedback? That would be a wrong way. So you understand the logic. Go and ask the feedback from the right person who can give you the feedback. But feedback is very important. And take it constructively. It is not about pinning you down. It's about getting you a better version of yourself tomorrow and day after. Build social skills. This is very important. And we often see this. And I'll be very transparent here saying a lot of times these Gen Z or the generations that you guys are, you're excellent in working with your phones, but you can't converse. I struggle with some of my teammates. Are you able to hear me? Yes. Do you understand? Yes. Oh, wait a minute. I have to respond to this chat. I said, can you just wait? Let's do. You ask them, they will text you quickly. They would actually tell you, some of my teammates, just text me. I said, no, I want to talk to you. I want to explain you what the challenge is and let's discuss this issue and how we can solve it. Okay. And sometimes I don't even understand the 2-letter, 3-letter, 4-letter acronyms. What do they even mean? I really have to figure it out. And the rescue is my daughter. Yeah, Dad, you don't know. So build your social skill. It's very important. See, we are not robots. Let's understand. If you were robots, then AI would have taken over you. The difference between you and robots is you have emotion, your feelings. You can interact. So we talked about empathy and all that, right? All of you mentioned about how will it happen if you don't know how to converse, if you strike a conversation. So it's extremely important to build that social skill within you as you lead. And specifically, if of course, folks in marketing and sales would be fairly good with it, but folks in other disciplines also need it. Trust me. Absolutely. And this is something that you have to build over time. And it's not easy. A few years back, I had a lot of fright inside myself saying, can I speak and do this? I know this, but I can't say this. I don't know how to say it in a better way. It's okay. Accept that you don't know, but start working on what to do next to overcome this. Otherwise, you'll never overcome this. So that's the self-reflection. If you remember in the last slide, it talked about reflect, write down the limitation or limiting beliefs that you have. I would not call it limitation. My wife would kill me if I told that. But she's a psychotherapy healer, and so she always tells me, don't talk about limitation. It's a limiting belief in yourself. It's not limitation of you as a human. It's a limiting belief that you have in your mind, and it could be for any other reasons. So do that, and then drive, build a purpose. You should have a purpose in life. It's not about just earning money, eat, khaya, piya, so gaya. No, that's not the purpose in life. What's your purpose in life? Work on it, and it will be different for everybody. And this goes on. By the way, this was just me, so don't think it was one of you. Well, before I complete, I've actually borrowed a couple of slides from my wife, and this I loved it because what I like about this is how do you grow, right? We talked about how to impart all this good stuff, how do you do this, how do you self-reflect, all these traits that you probably want to imbibe in. This grow model is something I love about it. And this grow model is actually for every little thing, try to set a goal. And then once you look at the goal, what's the reality? Where are you standing today? What's your reality today? And then you talk about options, right? And then finally, what will you do? So let's take a small example. I know I don't want to take a lot of, but let's take a small example. You guys decide that we want to go to South Mumbai to party this weekend. Yes, how about that? I'm in Pune, I should go and party. Well, few friends decide I'm going to go. But then you realize the reality is I don't have a lot of money. And I can't ask my parents to say, send me some 10, 15,000. I want to really party. Well, okay, but I still want to party. Now, what are my options? Well, I'll save on, instead of taking a cab, let's try to take a bus. But maybe a train. I don't want to do a bus because somewhere it'll get stuck in Lonavala or somewhere in the Ghat, and then I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere, very South Bombay and why. Let's take a train. Okay. Well, Vande Bharat goes, but it's too expensive. I'll drive the local train, whatever is there. So you'll find out options, right? And eventually you might decide, okay, maybe we need to party and enjoy as friends. Why don't we just go to Lonavala using a local and enjoy the nice weather? And that's my life. So options can change. It's a journey. So you don't have to think that this is my goal. I have to exactly meet that. It could open new doors and your new goals could come in. Am I making sense? So this grow model, I've personally found out great. And lastly, I want to leave you with this. And this is very important. We talk about always trying to achieve something, right? It's always an achievement, the instinct to achieve. Dad said you've not achieved. Mom said you didn't achieve. My chacha said I didn't. Uncle said this. My neighbor says you are a useless, whatever it is, right? We have to always be in a rush to achieve something and prove to God knows whom, but not to ourselves. So the important thing is be good to yourself before you do good to others. Be nice to yourself. Be very nice to yourself. See that you can do it. Don't be harsh on yourself. Failures will come. Failures doesn't mean that it's going to take you down. You have to be nice. Bounce back immediately. Stay positive. Very important. This is I think one of the most important thing. If you're not good to yourself, you can't be good to others. If you don't love yourself, how can you like anybody else? You'll always find problems in others. The second part is you need to be your biggest cheerleader. You know what is a cheerleader? Not cheering for others. Of course, you should clap. You should applause for anybody who's doing a great job. But you should be cheerleader for yourself. If you don't, then you're not motivating yourself to go up. You're not taking those risks or all those steps to do better. And we are humans. Please understand. We are not robots. We are not AI. You have feelings. And it's very important to understand and be cognizant of your feelings. But at the same time, your EQ should be so high that you can control your emotions and feelings. Now you see how EQ comes in? You have to love yourself, but you can't just be outpouring with emotions all the time. And this makes, to me, is a strong person, whether you call it a leader or whoever it is. So with that, I will go back and ask the question again. Who is a leader? I like some of you at least have listened to me. I'm happy. All right. Guys, thank you so much for allowing me this time to interact with you. Open to any questions. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.